What up, everybody? As y'all know, I'm Jay the Kid, and this is an episode of 4RopesFullPodcast. Podcast. This is our one-on-one segment part where usually I pick a certain interview that I personally like that I like to typically just do a one-on-one sit down with. If you guys been paying attention to our social media and everything, y'all know exactly who this guest is. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we got our friend joining the pod for the first time. We got indie bald ref Jessie G.
How's it going,
And I
dude?
think this one is really fun for me and everything, just because literally my name is Jesse, as y'all know already. You know, Jay the Kid, Jessie G already right here. So I just feel like this is the perfect time to just, have a one-on-one moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're the only other person I met because you was Jesse IE as well, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
JESSE. Yeah, you're
Yep,
probably the only other
JSSI.
person I've met that has it spelled that way. So it's pretty neat.
Exactly. So, just getting into it and everything, I just want to talk about basically how you got into the love of wrestling and what really made you want to stick around for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching wrestling for quite a bit now. I'd say I think it was like 2008 or 2009 when I started watching wrestling. And before that, the only really thing I had was the video games. So I would play with the video games, me and my neighbor, and we would just kind of try to replicate what we did in the video games in the backyard on a trampoline, as everyone does. And
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of fell in love with it then. Then I started making content, so on my TikTok, YouTube, and all that under Indie Bald Ref. Yeah, I started making wrestling content, just blind ranking wrestlers, finishers, faces, heels, tag teams, men, women, and that kind of started to pick up. And I had seen an ad on Facebook for the Maritime Wrestling Academy. And I was like, man, it'd be kind of neat to join that and like make a YouTube video out of it. Like this wrestling content creator tries wrestling for the first time. And then like the video ideas kind of started going in my head. So I went and I was like, all right, I'll do it once and then I'll like talk about it. If I can get like a few clips or whatever, then that would be sick. And I just kind of fell in love with it. Like naturally, I'm a little, I would say I'm athletic naturally. Like I'm typically good at sports if I pick it up and stuff. So the roles, just like the basics, and I've done Greco-Roman before as well, like Greco-Roman wrestling in high school. So it all kind of just flowed naturally, and I was really enjoying it. And if it wasn't for the people that was there, like I made so many friends at the wrestling academy that like I would go just to kind of hang out. And yeah, and then one day they asked if I was interested in reffing, and I was like, yeah, sure, I could definitely give it a shot, and I did it. And yeah, there's just something about reffing that I really enjoy. I don't know what it is, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it's the fact that I have the best seat in the house and like at heart, I'm a fan of wrestling and I can watch it there. And sometimes it's hard to like remember you're a ref, stay in character, you're not a fan, because I'm someone that I will react to uh, whether it's a chop that's super loud, like you'll see me go like, oh, or whatever it is. I just it's just a lot of fun, and I hope that it kind of translates as well, like for the audience watching, because it was Speedball Mike Bailey that gave me that advice. He was at a show that I was at, and he had given me the advice of like the ref is there to help navigate the fans and help them realize what's happening. So even if the heel does something that's not illegal, if they do something and they're just being a dick, react to it. Like show the audience this is not right. And then they will then be louder. So it's just little things like that I picked up along the way. And yeah, that's pretty much been the journey, man. I've been doing this for probably like a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take a little bit of time off just because I got a concussion, but other than that, like it's been a lot of fun.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that and everything, especially because we got a chance to talk here a little bit more recently. We've been around the mix. I've seen some of your stuff. You definitely probably maybe seen a few of our interview clips and everything like that on Instagram. But one thing that I just always find just interesting is just like your TikTok social media and everything, it's always like each time I open up my TikTok, it's just a blind ranking from you and just like a independent guy in the background and everything. I seen the one that you did with Trey Miguel. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool and everything. So I actually got a little segment that you and me are gonna quickly do as soon as we get done with a few more questions and everything. But you mentioned video games,
Yeah,
and
dude.
I want to ask you exactly if you had to rank your top three video games, what would those be?
All right. Third, I'll go a little more recent. I really,
Mm.
really like 2K19. WWE
Hmm.
2K19 was really good just because I'm someone that I like to simulate. I don't really play the game. I just kind of simulate universe mode, and 2K19 had a really good simulation. So that would be like my third pick, but kind of like a hot take. Number two, okay, number two might be hot take as well. Day of Reckoning 2 is like the first one that I really remember, and I have logged so many hours on that game. I love the just the mechanics, everything. It just was so good and so ahead of its time. And number one, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people like No Mercy. I didn't grow up playing No Mercy, so I don't really have that attachment to it. But Here Comes the Pain, I think, is the best wrestling game ever made.
You know, the only reason why I reacted the way I did with Day of Reckoning 2 is because I said it was the worst video game of all time. Now, let me explain.
Whoa.
Let me explain. Now, aesthetically, like the graphics and everything, still to this day, low key kind of hold up. Because it's still some, I would say, it's a few SmackDown versus Raws that don't really correlate to this day and age.
Yeah.
But Day of Reckoning for me, it just seemed like I was real I was real heavy on the hatred of it and everything just because of the button mashing part of it and everything. It just seemed like you can just press any button together and you can get like a super move or something like that. Now, I love the Game Boy and I thought the Game Boy was the best system, but I just couldn't get to it. It's like the button mashing and everything. Now, Day Reckoning, the first one was okay, but Day Reckoning 2, I
Okay.
hated with a passion. So I, that's why I reacted the way I did. Now, the hot take for SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. I didn't really grow up in that one. Like I had the game, but it wasn't like oh it was my pick of games. So it was like my
Yeah, yeah.
cousins used to love wrestling games, so they like any games that they had and they got tired of, they just gave to me. So Here Comes the Pain. I didn't really play too much, but my ranking would be a little bit different from yours. I would say number three for me would be SmackDown versus Raw 2011. I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
the custom
2011.
suites, like the adding the audio, like being able to add your own audio to the entrances and everything during the PlayStation 3 times, perfect.
That's good, dude. Yeah, and they introduced the physics, right? Like I think it was the first game. If you suplex someone, you could like pivot the suplex or like the
Yes.
power bomb. That was pretty cool.
hmm Number two for me would kind of be I think a lot of people might question it. I would say just because it got a real sentimental reason.
Okay.
WWE All Stars. Now, a
All
lot of people
stars.
might be like, that is the worst wrestling game in personal opinion. And I mean, that's fair. To be real, like it didn't really hold up. But the fun part of it, I got it when it first came out. It was the only thing I wanted for my birthday. I got that video game, played it all the way to the end. It's at my grandmother's house in her kitchen on the TV. That is my favorite game. That's like one of my favorite games all time. And then number one would be SmackDown versus Raw 2009, the DX cover. Because the Road to
Mm,
WrestleManias, my favorite one was out of all the Road to WrestleManias, I would say probably is CM Punk's.
okay,
So
that's
that's
fair.
how I would do my ranking list. Now, although they'll probably let us know in the comments exactly who they feel or
We're
their
both
own
wrong.
personal opinions, but hey,
if you don't say no mercy, I think everyone's kind of just like, well, I think you're wrong.
Oh,
2008 is like honorable mention as well. I
hmm.
like 2008, 2007 as well. Like both their GM modes were really fun. So
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on that. I feel like 2008 might have a little bit of edge over '07 just because the unlockables and everything. I
yeah.
feel like it was easier to get the unlockables on '08 than it was '07 without cheating, but
Hmm.
hey, teach its own. Um, but I wanted to ask you and everything because you also do a little bit of commentary on the side of it and
I
everything.
do. Yeah.
So, would you say that would you say that it takes you a little bit long? Like, would it take you a little bit of learning exactly the difference between the commentary side of it and the refereeing side, or do you feel like you can kind of mesh them well together? So therefore, it's like not a real change.
It's a big change. I think it works that I have refed and that I am a ref, and that kind of like is something that we often bring up on commentary. Whereas I'm the face commentator, and then you have my I hate to call him my partner, but less caliber. It also does commentary and sits next to me, and I have to deal with him for the whole night, which is super unfortunate for me. But yeah, he likes to bring up the fact that I'm a ref, and whenever the ref does something that's questionable, if they miss something, he tends to bring that up. But yeah, when I do commentary for IPW, it's also under Indie Bald Ref, so it's like my my refing and my social media presence, if you want to call it that, my TikTok, YouTube, like it kind of all just meshes together for commentary. I've refed for IPW, and then when they brought up like, hey, do you want to maybe try commentary? I'm like, yeah, dude, that sounds like a blast. I love talking about wrestling, so my gosh, if you want me to sit there and do that for a few hours, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, it's definitely very very different. um, I like the commentary and I like ring announcing because I can get my personality out a little bit more. When I'm refing, like the ref isn't there to be over, and that's not my goal to be over. That's why there are wrestlers in the ring. They're the ones that should be over, not me. So when I do commentary and when I do ring announcing, like I kind of have those moments where I can kind of display my personality a little bit more. Yeah.
So what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you give me your two matches that you would love to officiate. I'm gonna have a perfect. I'm gonna have an outside of the indie world one, and then I'm gonna have
Okay.
an inside the indie world one.
Okay. All right. That's a tough one. I think like for the local indie scene, I think I've refed most most people. Like if
Hmm.
that I can think of. I think I've refed them at least once. But there is an indie wrestler that I would love to ref, and that's just because, like, from what I've seen of his stuff, he tends to involve the refs quite a bit, and that's Cardona. A Cardona match
Mm.
would just be like peak for me. Peak indies, 100%, right? The indie god.
Hmm.
That's the match you want to ref, right? That's
Of
that's the
course.
that's the bar you want to reach. And then non indies. So if I had to pick someone, so I'm guessing non indies would be like WWE, AEW, kind
Yeah,
of.
stuff in that mix. Ring of
Yeah.
Honor, New Japan.
Okay. Okay. Who's someone? Jeez. I think I would like Rey Mysterio is my goat. It's my all-time favorite. So I would have to say that refing one of his matches would just absolutely be incredible. If I go a little more realistic, for people like I'd mentioned that I've been at a show with Speedball. I'd love to ref one of Speedball's matches. Man, that guy's crazy good.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think that his social media and like following now is also hilarious. Like the stuff that he do with MVP and like the Hurt Syndicate, I love that type of stuff. So just
Yeah,
being able to see exactly how like they can move around in a ring and everything in person, because like you said, it's the best seat in the house. Like
100%.
I don't think like most people understand like like the love of being a referee and everything. Like you literally have a front row seat to everything.
Yeah,
Like
and it
no matter
helps when you
what.
love it, right? It helps, but like I said, like I sometimes I have to remember. I'm not a fan right now, right? And that can be
Mm-hmm.
hard when like someone goes through a table or like someone does a coast to coast and the guy has a garbage can over his head and he gets clocked and you're like, oh my god, what did I just see? And then you're like, I should probably check up on them. It's just
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
just
that.
gotta shake it back into you like you're the referee. Like
Yeah,
go ahead
yeah,
and
yeah.
nah, I definitely get that. I definitely get that. If you would had to go back and maybe talk to yourself from a year ago to where you are now,
Mhm.
what would be the three things that you would either tell yourself to do differently or just let your older self know?
That's a good question, dude. Definitely I've started to take like it's just something so small, but I've started to take more pictures. I think that's a big thing where I was too shy to do anything, right? So like filming content at the shows, taking pictures with people and just having those memories and remembering that because there's a lot of stuff that happens that someone will bring up like, "Hey, do you remember this?" And it's like, "Oh shit, yeah, that did happen, didn't it?" So just stuff like that, like just being more present and just kind of keeping those things. That would be one of them. If I have to go more refing, at first I was a. It's such a Canadian thing. I think I was way too polite, and I would just be afraid to get in the way. In the sense that, like, now it's to the point where it's like I'm not afraid to push the workers out of the way. Like if the wrestlers, if you're in the corner and you're wailing on the dude, and I'm at 4 and I'm almost at 5, I will push you out of the way, right? Like I won't. I'll
Yeah,
push them as hard as I can, but I will separate them. And like at
right,
first, I probably wouldn't have done that just because I just wasn't confident enough to do that. So that's
right.
definitely one thing I would say would be so the first one is to be more present, to film more content, just for social, because people love seeing backstage and behind the scenes stuff. And I think
Oh
that's
yeah, of
something
course.
that I'm definitely putting my focus on more a little bit now. Number two, be louder and be less polite. The ref is the authority. I'm not there to say please and thank you. I'm there to make sure people follow the rules. And sometimes you have to be, a little bit of a dick to do that. So that's definitely number two. And I guess number three would be don't be afraid to be physical and imposing to the people in the ring. And I think that's something that a lot of newer refs like you just don't want to mess up and you want to let them do their thing, but it's like you got to remember and like the audience won't see you as that authority if you don't do those things. So it's just little things like that I would probably tell myself to do.
Okay, okay. And now we get to our blind ranking. So
Oh,
I
here we
got five
go.
indie stars to where I'm gonna have you rank them in order, and you won't know who comes next. So
Okay.
I'm gonna start out with Ricky Mortis.
Okay, what is this, top 5?
Yep, top
Or
five.
is it top 5? Okay, so 1 to 5, Ricky Mortis. I've refed a lot of his matches. He's one of the guys that was at the academy with me that, he's a football fan. I'm a football fan. So we kind of just get along very well.
Friend of the
1
pod.
to
Shout out to my man
5.
Ricky.
Yeah, shout out. Um, oh God, this is tough, man. Because these are people I know, and I blind rank WWE superstars. They're never gonna see the video, so I can just like absolutely crap on people. Okay, I'll put Ricky at 2. I'm starting off high.
mm,
I'm starting off high.
mm.
And the
Okay,
reason why
okay.
is because he's been doing this for a year and it's just different when he's in there, man. Like I feel like with him, I'm never gonna be in the way because everything he does is so logical and everything just makes sense.
Yeah, no, I
There's
definitely got a
something.
chance to not to cut you off. I got a
Oh,
chance
no.
to watch one of his matches and everything at an IPW event, live stream, and
Mhm.
I just like how he's just so, like you said, he's calculated with knowing exactly what he's gonna do, but it comes off like it's just up in the wind, always just I'm gonna just go throw my body on the line and everything.
Right.
So I love any time that I get a chance to just see him wrestle because we have a straight common denominator too. It's like his favorite wrestler all the time is Jeff Hardy. Mine is Jeff Hardy. So being able to connect with him on that stuff and just like see that he like you said, it's only a year. He's able to really honestly say that he's a fan favorite. So I
Oh,
love
for sure, dude.
Ricky Mortis.
It's crazy. I think he has a Jeff Hardy tattoo as well, if I remember.
Hmm.
I think he's got the logo tattooed.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
who's next?
We got Logan Green.
LG Easy 5.
Mm,
Can't stand the dude. He hit me. I don't know if you've seen that match. He smacked
I
me
don't,
across the face. I'm putting him at 5.
you know, very valid, very valid. I give you that. Hmm. Fantana.
I gotta go number 1. I can't not go number 1. I hate that I have 3 and 4 open still. He was the one that mostly trained me when I had first
Mhm.
started. So we kind of have that, and just yeah, crazy athletic, unreal. I gotta go 1.
Mm. All right. So the next two, some people might question it why they were added so lately onto it, but I would have to give number three to my man's. Well, not number three, but the next one I would have to give to
Yeah,
my guy Deuce Harlem.
Deuce Harlem. Okay, I've actually that's one person I've never been at a show with him.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I haven't really gone to. I've ref some matches and I've done some shows in Nova Scotia, but that's mostly where he wrestles. I don't think I've been to a
Mm.
show with him, if
So
I'm
he
being
would have
honest. I
probably
think
had to be a four.
yeah, by default, I think I'm gonna go number 4, and that's nothing against him. I've yeah, never
Yeah,
had the
no,
honor.
no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So that means your number three is going to be Giant Orion.
Ah, dang. Okay. I was gonna say perfect list. If I, in retrospect, I know I can't switch anything, right? I'm,
Yeah, nah. Of
but
course. Tell me how you would re-rank that.
I would switch 2 and 3, and maybe 1
Mm.
into like I would maybe put him number 1. So I think I would, yeah, I would put him number 1, and then kind of just keep that list going.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. Logan Green, sorry to let you know. If you are watching this, you are number five.
Hey, he hit me. That's all I'm saying, dude. He
Hey,
gave me a good
that's
smack too. Like that's
oh.
yeah, that was okay. So that was the match that he had during his entrance, he broke his leg, and we needed to yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like he was doing his entrance and then he broke his leg, and yeah, it just came to it was actually a match with Fantana. Um, and yeah, he had broke his leg. So when the match started to get disqualified, he gave me a good old smack across the face. And I wasn't expecting that. Man, that was a crazy hit.
Oh, wow. I did
Yeah.
not know that that was the match that he hurt himself on.
Oh yeah,
Because I
yeah.
got a chance to like check his socials and I saw him around with the boot and everything. And I wondered, like, was that like a workout thing? Was it training? It was during a match.
During a
Huh.
match, he came off the second rope, and yeah, he was freaking out. So I went to go see him in the corner, and he's like, we thought it was his knee at first. And that was a show with Davy Boy Smith Jr. He was at that show, and he was getting ready for his match. And he's like, "Okay, there's one match before mine." So they, everyone got together, kind of started trying to plan it. And then it's like the bell rings to start the match, bell rings to finish the match, and they're like, "What just happened?" So they had no time to plan the match whatsoever. And then they went out there and had like a crazy match. So that just goes to show you how underrated Davy Boy Smith Jr. is, that he put
Yeah.
on such a great match, just like that on the fly. But yeah, no, we thought it was his knee or something, like he tore something in his knee, but no, it was like his shin, like it just snapped, which is crazy.
Yeah. I learn something new with the indie world all the time and everything out there. Let's see. Who do you feel is a upstart that the indie world or just anybody doesn't really know right now, but as soon as they get a little bit more opportunity or a little bit more momentum, like the sky's the limit for them.
Um, so we have a local wrestler, Dick Durning, who's done a lot for Canadian wrestling, and his son recently just started wrestling, Dries Durning, and like if that kid can stay healthy, that kid is unreal. He's 15 years old and he can do standing shooting star presses. Like the matches that he's done just display his athleticism so well. And like if like I said, if he can stay healthy, because high risk, high reward, right? But just his style just is, man, like I just have to remind myself, this kid's 15. Like this kid is crazy good.
Wow.
At least I think he's 15,
Definitely
15,
gonna have to.
16, something like that. So I would say like in a few years from now, don't be surprised if Dry Sterning is all over Canada.
Hmm. Okay, okay. I definitely want to check that out then. Hmm.
Yeah, he has a few
Let's
matches.
see.
The latest one was at North Pro Canadian Wrestling. He had a few matches there. So on their YouTube channel, usually they upload stuff pretty quickly. And he has a few matches on there as well. I think Harbor Echo, he had a match. But shout out to North Pro Canadian Wrestling.
Okay, okay. Hmm. Well, now a little, I would say something with our guys and everything. One thing that we love here, we love our sneakers. Sneaker choice for me for the day and everything would be the Jordan 5, the North Carolina. I want to ask you, when you're being a referee and everything,
Yeah.
what would you say is the most comfortable shoe to wear in a wrestling ring?
I have it's like an Under Armour, I forget what it is, like an athletic shoe, but it's all black with black laces. So I was like, sick, I can wear that because dress shoes would be extremely uncomfortable. But those are
Yeah.
the ones that I train in, that I go to the gym in, that I ref in. So like those shoes I find are just super comfortable. I don't know exactly what they're called, but I know it's an Under Armour. Um, yeah, it's like an athletic. I don't know what it is, but super comfy. I dig them.
Okay, okay, okay. And then the last segment and everything, we are going to turn our one-on-one segment into a 10-minute heat wave. So within the 10-minute mark and everything, I'm going to try to ask you a bunch of questions, some of them wrestling related, some of them not wrestling related, some of them just to see if I like you as a person. So without other being said and everything, whenever you're ready, I'll let the 10-minute timer begin.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Let's go. Let's do it. Time
All
to ruin
right.
my reputation.
Hmm. What is the best ice cream flavor?
Oh man, people are gonna make fun of me. Vanilla.
You know,
Vanilla
basic,
goes with
basic.
everything. I can have vanilla ice cream with like a warm chocolate chip cookie or warm brownie or cake, and it just works. Vanilla's the
You're
goat.
not. Vanilla's underrated. I will respect you on that one. I can't like it's a good base to add other stuff to it. So
Hundred
I
percent.
give you that.
Hundred
That's pretty
percent.
good. Hmm. If you could go back in time and set up your dream match, whether it is indie, whether it's WWE, like whatever moment in time you can go back in time to set up a dream match.
Mm-hmm.
What year, what pay-per-view, what superstars?
Ooh, that's a tricky one, man. That's a good question. All right, I would have to do, what's something that I've always wanted? Like a match that I've always wanted to see. Give me, you know what? I'm this might sound weird. I'm just gonna go back like a few years. Let's turn the clock a bit. Let's have Kenny Omega sign with the WWE and give me Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins.
Mm,
I think
okay,
if we look
okay.
at like primes at the same time, like if I could go back in time and like take, I don't know, like 90s Shawn Michaels and then go and take, 2000s this person, but if I have to go at one point in time, I find Seth
Mhm.
Rollins and Omega's just always in his prime, it seems. But I would put both of them together. I think that would probably be the best matchup that's never happened. Or give me like early 90s Sting versus Undertaker. I think that's just the
Oh,
default match that we've never had, that everyone has always wanted to see.
that is very disappointing that that's never happened. Like
Right? Yeah,
at
it just
all. Even when
feels.
they both were in WWE, like I feel like we could have taken away the Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker match. Great match though. Rest in peace to a living legend. Um, but I definitely think that there was some moments in time where as soon, even though they were both older, I feel like their opponents for WrestleMania didn't really matter. Those two guys could have just had their moment in the sun, and then we wouldn't have to wonder no more. But I do wonder who would have won that. So I give you that.
I think if it's booked
Hmm.
in the WWE or WWF at the time, it's Undertaker. I don't think Vince would have put over a WCW guy against one of his top talents, and I think that kind of shows with Triple H versus Sting.
Yeah, I give you that. That was kind of bad. I mean,
That
it
was
felt
just
like it
like
could have been great, but
it could have,
nah.
but it was just it felt like Vince was just flexing. We won the Monday Night Wars, and that's all it was.
Yeah, you right on that. You right on that. Hmm. What would you say? Which event do you say is more important? Would you say SummerSlam or the Royal Rumble? Which one of those events do you think are just as important as a WrestleMania?
Um, I think that the WWE sees SummerSlam as just as important as WrestleMania. I think the Rumble is kind of like episode 1, right, of the road to WrestleMania. And that to me, like if you have a good solid foundation, you know who wins the Rumble, so you can guess what the main event's going to be, and that kind of builds everything up. I think the Royal Rumble is probably the second most important pay-per-view after WrestleMania, obviously. Um, and I think it has, almost everybody loves the Rumble match. I love a good Rumble match. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Add on question since you picked the Rumble, what
mhm.
is the best Royal Rumble year?
Best Royal Rumble year. Oof. The whole show or like the Royal Rumble matches?
Hmm. We you can do both.
Both? Okay. That's a tricky one. I don't have the best memory when it comes to the Rumbles. I obviously loved, I think it was 2006 when Rey Mysterio won, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that one just because I'm a Rey Mysterio fanboy. But if I had to pick another one, I like 2009 with Orton winning. I thought that was that was a good Rumble match. Had a couple surprises in there. And then more recently, gosh, what would have been not the last one? I'm not a fan of Jey Uso winning. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if you're Yeet or no Yeet. I'm no. I'm not.
I,
I'm
I
yeet
mean,
when it comes to like a mid card wrestler. When you have Jey Uso hitting a spear on Bronson Reed and Bronson Reed is taking a big bump for it, I cannot stand that. I can't stand the fact that Jey Uso is doing this big power move on someone who has like 150 pounds on him. And anyways, it
hmm
just that's a
yeah,
different
nah.
story. That's neither here nor
We have
there.
to get you back on for a different one because I got my mixed reviews on it too,
Yeah, for
personally.
sure. Entertaining,
Uh,
yeah, but
of course.
yeah.
Hmm. What would you say are the five best matches that you officiated?
That I've refed. Okay, recency bias. I refed the first ever, or the match to crown the first ever women's champion for IHW. I think that was a really entertaining match. That was a really good match to be a part of as well. I would have to put that one up there. What's another one that I've done that's good? Just emotional, like I said, with the whole LG and breaking his leg. that turned into like a year and a half storyline with Fantana, and I got to ref all those matches. The last one that they did was a mask on a pole match, which at first I
Hmm.
was like, oh man, that's like giving me flashbacks to like WCW booking. But in all honesty, it was such a good match, and it was just more of like the emotional being a part of it, where they finally have their big blow up match, and um, everything that they've overcome to get to that point. So that match holds like a special place in my heart. And it was a really good match, man. Like coast to coast, one side of the ring to the other, and LG had the garbage can who was in it, and Fantana hit him with it. And man, it was crazy. It was a crazy good match. I'd have to put a fatal four way for Island Pro Wrestling that I did for their
Ah,
first
with my man
show.
Spike Etsy, he was in that match,
Yeah,
right?
he was in that
Mm-hmm.
match. Yeah, Spike, Dominant Warrior, Caden, and Schimmel was in that match, and that was probably the match where the first match that I really felt confident as a ref. So just for that as well, that kind of holds a special place in my heart. Um, Man, one more match I gotta pick. What match did I do? I've done a lot of matches that were just really good. I really like doing um, Moondog versus Rudy Lockhart, and that was for the North Pro Heavyweight Championship. And the reason why is because I went through a table, and that's kind of always, yeah, that's a bucket list item. It was a door, but it's the same thing, right? I went through furniture, I guess. I went through a door, and that's kind of always been bucket list items. So
Hey, I mean, hey, you took the bump, so
exactly, yeah, and they were
there's a
really they
lot
were
of
really
people who
safe
be
about it.
too scared.
Yeah, those guys are very professional and very good.
Hmm. You know, with this minute left and everything, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get to the burning question. Now, the burning question is usually typically something I usually end these interviews off with.
All right.
When you all said and done, when there's no more commentating, when there's no more refereeing in the next decades, what exactly do you plan to do, or what are your goals, some visions? If that means being in a wrestling world still, if that means, doing nonprofits, if that still means being active around the maritime community and everything, what exactly does the indie bald ref become?
That's a good question, dude. And I think the whole ideology that a lot of folks have around here that I really agree with is leave it better than you found it. And if by the time that I'm not able to keep refing, whether it's that I just can't keep up anymore, like something were to happen that I have to stop, if I feel that I have not left it in a better spot than I found it, then I would still like to be involved, whether that's behind the scenes, whether I don't know, promoting doesn't sound like a fun thing to me, just for all the things you have to deal with. But whether it's behind the scenes, just as like an on-screen character, like as a GM or something, right? Like those type of things is definitely something that I like to do, or even just helping out with social media for the different companies. Like that's always something that I'm happy and willing to do, and just kind of shed light to the maritime wrestling scene.
Now that is how you answer a burning question. Man, I might say, even though this was a pretty shorter interview, I would love to hopefully get you back on again and everything with my
Yeah,
guys
for
on
sure.
so we can talk a little bit more. I really enjoyed this, man. This is a good one-on-one talk and everything. Two Jessies just chatting it up, just having a good time talking about all
Best thing,
sorts of
dude. Just
wrestling and everything.
two Jessies hanging out.
Yeah, man. So we definitely gonna have to talk a little bit more and everything. Definitely get you on another stream. Have a few more games planned. We have this topic about this week in wrestling, and then we always have some type of just crazy game to mix up with everything. So we
It's
definitely want
awesome,
to
dude.
have you
Yeah,
back on again. Definitely.
for sure, man. I'd be happy to
All
do
right.
it
And
anytime.
then to knock out this and everything, as y'all know, I'm Jay the Kid. But give us a big shout out to our friend, the Indie Bald Ref, Jessie G. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this episode of 4Ropes Full Podcast today. One thing before we get up out of here that we always want to thank you guys for, we thank you for wrestling. And we out. Peace.